The 2026 Formula 1 season is upon us, and testing has just started in Barcelona. The 11 teams starting this season are showing off their liveries one by one, and we've also seen some cars on track. It's way too early to talk about the winner of 2026 yet, right? Well, no. The anticipation of how a season will unfold is half the fun. And since I'm a YouTuber who suffers from Dutch Delusion, I think it's fair to ask whether Max Verstappen can win his fifth. To win the title in Formula 1, you obviously need to be talented enough to keep the car on track and go fast. With fast, I mean really fast and really consistent too. As Max Verstappen has proven in the last decade, he is both fast and consistent. He has so much speed and he is so obsessed with going faster that he makes his team and the people around him work harder, making him go even quicker. The team principals know this too. This is why Verstappen was voted best driver in F1 by them. The other drivers on the grid were asked the same thing, and they voted for Verstappen too. Renowned magazines like Autosport voted him the best driver, and so did the FIA. We can easily conclude that Max Verstappen has the talent to win the 2026 title. If we look at last year, when he had a slower car than McLaren most of the season, he still managed more wins than anyone else. Give him half a chance as a competitor, whether it's the team or the driver messing up, Max Verstappen will cash in on it. With his experience in other series and trying all kinds of cars in the sim, he's also highly adaptable, which is very important now that the regulations will be changing this season. I think the 2026 regulations will suit him. As I said earlier, he's highly adaptable, and from what I've heard, there's quite a bit of gamemanship needed to overtake people and stay ahead after that. With a car that is 50% battery driven, a bad driver can use up all his battery on one straight and be a sitting duck for the rest of the lap. We've seen Verstappen play DRS games before, and I expect this to be quadrupled in 2026. I'm not sure if his competitors will catch on to these things as quickly as he can. We've seen Lando Norris, the current world champion, believe it or not, overtake Lewis Hamilton on the same straight in Jeddah to be promptly overtaken again on the same lap. Then the next lap, he did it again. This is the stuff that ruins your race in 2026. Well, that's my prediction anyway. I just know that if Verstappen finds out during a free practice session that there's a weird line you can take while deploying battery or something to make him go even quicker, he'll figure it out before anyone else, and that's a major benefit for him. And then talking about the car and its aero package. This is the first time a new regulation starts for Red Bull without the input of legend Adrian Newey. He's the big man at Aston Martin now. So the sole responsibility for making the RB22 work is on Pierre Waché and Enrico Balbo. Now, these guys don't have the reputation Newey has, yet. But the only way to get there is by designing a great car. It's as simple as that. I didn't have much faith in them, if I'm honest, in 2024 when the RB20 started having serious issues. I was a little pissed off with them, and I even said they should be replaced. That was a bit silly of me, because people need time to grow into their roles. Like, who's perfect at everything from day one? The thing that gives me hope is that in 2025 the team kept pushing for solutions where Horner wanted them to focus on 2026 instead. And they did manage to get the car to a point where, in the hands of Max, it could compete with the McLarens. The RB21 became a pretty decent car during the second half of the season, even if the setup was still tricky, as we saw during qualifying in Brazil, where Verstappen was out in Q1. It did give us a nice pit lane to podium race though. I see no reason why Waché and Balbo couldn't develop a car less reliant on ground effect that can compete for the world title. Laurent Mekies said to the Dutch newspaper, De Telegraaf, that they have a triple benefit with having Max Verstappen in their team. I'm sure he's referring to how quick Max is, but also the ability he has to pinpoint the finer details of what a car is missing or where it's going in the wrong direction. See, Max Verstappen isn't the type of driver to feel a problem and then promptly bring up a solution. His job is to explain as accurately as possible what the car is doing and what he wants from it. The experts at the factory or on the pit wall can break their heads over the possible solutions. Max gives an explanation from corner to corner of exactly what is happening, and this data has turned out to be more valuable than the information from the sim. From what I heard, the tools they had weren't calibrated to perfection yet. I hope they have this sorted a bit better, so that information can help them a little further as well. Okay, let's recap this bit before we dive into the last big key point that can decide Max's success in 2026 or not. Max Verstappen has the talent, as shown by all the votes of confidence he got from all the magazines and the people in F1. The new gimmicky regulations are perfect for him, as he has the overcapacity to play all these silly games while driving at 300 km per hour and braking in time for a chicane. His competitors might struggle a bit more with that. And I believe the aero team of Red Bull is becoming capable of delivering a beast of a car even without Adrian Newey there. So the last really important part that should lead to Max's 5th title is the engine. The first engine produced by the Red Bull Powertrains division, with the help of the American giant Ford. Laurent Mekies said that it would be crazy and naive to think they will be at the top level straight away, which doesn't sound very promising, to be honest. However, Mekies is quite modest, unlike his predecessor, so he might just be saying this to lower expectations. After all, it's better to be modest and then surprise everyone, rather than blow your own horn to then disappoint everyone. Let's not forget that thanks to the staff post from Mercedes, they learned about the infamous engine ratio trick. So they have that benefit where Ferrari, Honda and Audi don't have it. The V-Carb team has done a filming day where they drove the car with the new engine for 200 kilometers and had no reliability issues. I expect them to be okay. Red Bull hired loads of people from Honda when they pulled out of the sport. Honda had to hire new people to replace them when they changed their minds about it, to supply Aston Martin. Red Bull also hired loads of Mercedes people who were there when Mercedes was dominant in the V6 hybrid era. I don't see why these experts couldn't produce the same quality as Honda and Mercedes did all those years. Alain Permain, Racing Bull's team principal, has talked about the new engine, the DM01. It's called that as a tribute to Dieter Mateschitz, the owner of Red Bull, who passed away a few years ago. Here's what Permain said. I think managing expectations is a tricky one. We haven't really talked about that sort of thing. I know in Red Bull Racing, the expectations are obviously always high. We have high hopes, not even hopes. We are sure the powertrain will be good. We are sure it will be powerful. We are sure it will be reliable, so we don't have any doubts. We don't have any doubts. Isn't that the most beautiful thing to hear? He also said that the noises coming out of the Red Bull powertrains are positive, whereas I'm hearing about other teams having issues, which is a relief, I have to say. I'm going into the 2026 season quite confident that Max Verstappen can win the title. And I'm not alone in this. The bookmakers also have Max Verstappen as the most likely choice to win it. Max Verstappen and George Russell are the frontrunners in the 2026 Formula 1 Championship odds, according to the bookmakers. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri complete the top 4. Skybet's opening board for the Drivers' Championship makes Verstappen the favourite at 5-2. Russell is close behind at 11-4, and Norris sits third at 7-2. Piastri is the next at 6-1. These prices roughly translate to Verstappen at just under 29%, Russell around 27%, Norris at 22%, and Piastri about 14%. Now, the margins are pretty tight, and obviously these numbers might change after testing, but it shows that despite the new engine and all the changes at the Red Bull team, Max Verstappen is highly favoured to win the title. These bookmakers do their research very well, or else they'll lose a lot of money. So, who are you putting your money on for the 2026 title? If it's Max Verstappen, please subscribe. If it's Norris, you can f*** off. Take care now. Doei doei.